Hello, who are you and where are you from?
My name's Michael Huber. I live in Cobb Mountain, California.
All right, and what do you do?
I'm a beekeeper. I've been involved in the beekeeping business, raising bees and selling honey for about 35 plus years.
And you're right now standing behind the counter and selling beside the road.
That's right.
And in those 30 some years, have you seen, well, actually from your childhood, have you seen much climate change since you were a kid?
You know, as we started talking, the one thing that I thought about that I've heard other people as well say is that when I was a kid, I remember going on the freeway like through the Central Valley, and our windshield would be just completely splattered with bugs by the end of the trip or just after a few hours. And I have friends who are beekeepers who live in the Central Valley, so I do make that trip, and my windshield is not covered with bugs these days, so I know something's changed over those years.
And have you sensed any heat difference or any weather difference over the years?
Definitely. The place where I live is in the mountains. It's about 3,000 feet. When I've lived there about 25 years, one of the things I really liked about where I live was the temperate climate. In the wintertime, we would get 2 or 3 snows that would just last a few days. In the summertime, our temperatures were generally in the 80s. When there was a heat spell, we'd have low 90s. In the last 10 years, 15 years, the temperatures have risen. Now we get a heat wave and we can hit 100 degrees, which was unheard of before. The other thing that is, it's also impacting our ponderosa pine trees, which many of them are dying and becoming vulnerable and susceptible to pine bark beetles. So we've lost a lot of trees as a result of what I've described.
So on an everyday basis, do you think much about the climate? And say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most concerned, where do you think you are?
You know, it's something that definitely concerns me, but I'll be blunt. My attitude is the earth would be better off without us humans. So, you know, I try to be positive and have hope that we're going to realize what we're up against and we're going to take the appropriate actions before too late. But, you know, I don't know. I have concern about how we've changed our environment, but I don't dwell on it. I don't worry about it. I try to live my own life as best I can.
Well, you're a beekeeper. Has there been any change in the beekeeping that you do?
Most definitely. I've talked to other beekeepers, and the flowers, there aren't as many flowers blooming, and it doesn't seem like the flowers are producing as much nectar. When I was most avidly beekeeping, eucalyptus was one of my favorite honeys, and I would produce lots of eucalyptus honey. When you drive about 3 or 4 miles down Highway 1, you'll go through a eucalyptus grove, and the eucalyptus generally blooms between November and May, and in days of old, the trees would be covered with big, white, creamy flowers, and in the last 5, 6, 7 years, all I see is a handful of flowers. So it's something that visually is perceptible, and as I mentioned, I've talked to other beekeepers who say the same thing.
And what about the future? Are you an optimist or pessimist, and what can we do about it?
Well, you know, I don't know what the answer is, but we tend to, as humans, think short term instead of long term. I think it's going to take a calamity or two where it's unquestionably something we have to make change on, and I hope that by that time it's not too late.
Well, very good. Right outside of Bodega Bay here in California on the 9th. Did you say the 9th or 8th? 8th of April. Thank you very much, Michael.
Yeah, good talking with you.
Great.